Hi again. This is a video that's in addition to our How to Draw a Chameleon video, just about adding color to your chameleon. So you can see that chameleons come in lots of different colors, so you don't have to really follow the previous colorway that was on the last video. So I had a reference picture, a photo of a chameleon. But this one is based on that, but I've also gone and added some colors that aren't necessarily on the chameleon. So I do want to show you that this chameleon has lots of texture. What I did was I used my lighter colors first. So I used my light blue. I used markers for this drawing, but you could use colored pencils or crayons. I used a lighter blue for these blue areas that you see here, and I just filled them between the lines that I had drawn with pencil, the stripes that are on the back of my chameleon. I'm now layering in some light blue over the light blue I had already done. You can actually get a little bit darker color by going over the color that you've already done. Markers are great like this. With colored pencils, you can actually just start off real light and then press a little bit harder. I used yellow. I used two different yellows for this chameleon. You see this lighter yellow was for the base. I did this part first. And then I went in and added some texture here with this darker yellow. It's just a little more orange. And I can add, right over my yellow, I can add a little bit of this darker yellow. It's a great way to make a shadow. So if I wanted to put a shadow on the feet here, I can go in with my darker yellow and just put it right over my light yellow. I've used about 6 or 7 different colors on this chameleon. In areas where there's light green, I may have put in yellow as the base. So this crest that's on top of my chameleon, I colored the whole thing in yellow and then went over with a very light green. And so I get a nice greenish yellow here. And then I can actually add some more texture. This chameleon has lots of little bumps and scales. So by adding texture, I can put in a little more of a color right over a color. I used an orange color. I used two different oranges. Right at the ridge of my chameleon here, I used very small dots, and I just applied the dots so it looks like the tips of those little scales all along his back. So just play with color with your chameleon. You can really make your chameleon any color you like, but in this case I used some of the colors based on the chameleon that I saw in my reference picture. The other thing I like to do in my classes is when we draw something like a branch. So this chameleon's standing on this branch he's holding on. I used a few different browns. So I started with my lighter brown, it's called tan in this case, and then I use a couple of other browns and I do small strokes, and I do these to look like bark. So I'm using the marker. In this case, you can use your colored pencils or crayons, and I go in the direction that this branch is growing. So I use some horizontal lines and I give it a really nice texture, and I can put this darker brown right over the lighter tan color. And then my branch looks like it actually has bark. So that's my chameleon. That's just a little bit on coloring your chameleon. These are just some of the colors I used. Use lots of colors. Don't be afraid to blend colors, and have a good time.